Starscream looks like he's really been working out.
Transformers battle cry, robots in disguise, Autobots fighting on crushing Decepticons.
I'm Ghost Prime. We'll check out animated Starscream in this review. And his characterization in the cartoon was a little different than most other depictions of Starscream. He actually was cloned instead of having other Seekers, being the air commander Starscream that he was. It's an interesting take on him. At one point, he was just a floating head. If you haven't seen animated, check it out. There's actually a lot cool going on with the cartoon. I'm one of the people that didn't give it a chance at first, and I end up really loving it. So give it a chance. Check it out if you haven't already. I'm just going to do a quick review on this guy, so please like and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get to the review. And in case you don't already know, this is animated Starscream. These are Skywarp's missiles because mine are put away, so just pretend they're orange. And yeah, I like the detail on it. It's one of those surprising ones from animated, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of divisiveness about this figure just because it doesn't quite look like the cartoon, but I think it looks pretty good, and it reminds me a lot of a Veritech. Of course, you see some gribbly bits, but it makes a fantastic jet mode. And I like how these work. I think these are really, really cool landing gear. Maybe a little hard to get out, but I like how they work. They're so large. And then you have the missiles that come, and you can go like this, and it could still use the landing gear and roll perfectly well with them like this. They also have these pieces here that fire, and they fire pretty hard. This thing's cool, and I'll take that to my grave. This is awesome. I love the feet like this. Again, very Veritech acting. I don't think we could do a gear walk mode out of this, though. We're just going to move this video along really, really quickly, and let's get into comparisons. And there he is with a VF-1S Valkyrie. So, as you can see, it is quite a bit smaller, but a lot of those elements are there. You have the arms that are under here going in between the legs. Here, you have the feet, which open up like so. Same thing here, the arms in the middle. Of course, this is done much cleaner, but I mean, the bones are there. That's why it reminds me so much of this. And there he is with Red Sunstreaker. So time for transformation, and I'm going to go over it really quick. First thing we're going to want to do is put the landing gear back away. And move these back to expose the robot bits on the underside. Then he's transformed into robot mode. He said, "Oh, but Ghost Prime, you missed a step." Yeah, these things, these come apart. I guess I'll do it. I can always this comes apart. Always falls off. And see, there's the other one. These are supposed to go both like that. There's one part of the design I do not like. It's finicky, it's annoying, and does not work right. So, I don't think it actually adds really much to the design. You may feel differently than me. I do not. So I keep them just like that. And I got to rehook this every time. That's how I feel about that. But you're right. There is an extra step. Here he is in robot mode. And I think he looks really, really, really cool. We go ahead and arm him up with his missiles. Also, another point of contention with this, especially when it was released, is he doesn't have proper null rays. In the show, he has null rays that come off of his biceps, and he doesn't have anything proper for this one at all. They're on his arms. There's a gimmick with them. You could fold these up like this. Really, you can't get them in any real good looking sort of way. I just sort of keep these out and off. I put them away somewhere and keep those like that because that doesn't look terrible at all. Let's get in real close to that face sculpt. One thing that's very cool about this face sculpt is the light piping. And let's see if I get the light in there. You can almost see it. There you go. I love how the mouth lights up too. Animated has some of the best light piping. A lot of them even have pupils. And I think it's really, really cool. Let's get a little bit better there. I mean, look at that. That's just rad. I love how they did that. Super awesome little detail. Really cool. Moving on, speaking of detail, you got red on the chest. I mean, it looks really good. These are slightly miscolored. It really shows up on camera, not as much in person. There they are, and his hands. His hands are articulated. Not too much. These fingers like to fall off. His head is on a ball joint. It is a clear connection to a clear point there, so be careful on that. Shoulders, clicky. Would go all the way around if it wasn't for his backpack. Could only go about out to that. I mean, bicep, sort of. It's at the elbow there. Let's go back a little further. There's not a lot there. One thing that is cool that they don't really show it on the show is these pieces here. So if you move this forward, you have some parts that fold out like this, so it's like a giant cannon. That looks all right. I think that's kind of a neat little feature. Leg wise, go out to there. Pretty far forward, pretty far back. Knees, pretty good range. He actually has ankle tilts a little bit and up and down due to a ball joint there. Here's how he looks with a couple of his repaints or clones as they were in the cartoon. Move that light a little better. I really wish they came out with a Thundercracker so we could have the trio, and they just didn't. They had the Sunstorm instead, which looks really cool, but it would have been really neat to see all three of them. There he is next to Lockdown from Animated Soundwave. There he is with the VF1S Veritech, and he shares less in common with this. So in conclusion, I would love to see this guy remade. He has some quirks that make him just not perfect, but at the time he was fantastic. I still love having him in my collection. I'm a fan of Animated. I think he's a really cool figure. They really tried to do some things with the auto transforming, and they did some cool things with it, and they made him look good. There are things I wish he had, like the null rays. That's a very valid argument. But overall, he's beefy and he's cool, and a really cool take on a classic character. Let me know what you think of this guy in the comments, and I'll see you in the next review.